Good afternoon, everybody. We will be starting in 2 minutes, so please be patient. Feel free to type any questions that you have in our chat facility. We will be monitoring those questions and answering them as the webinar progresses. Good afternoon, everybody. We will be starting in 1 minute. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our GED Open Day webinar, and thank you for joining us. My name is Sean Swartz. I am the CEO of SK Education Solutions. We are the official office of the GED in South Africa, as well as throughout the rest of Africa as well. A very special welcome to all our new GED students and parents, as well as all our prospective GED students and parents. Today, we are joined by Angela. She's an expert in all things relating to the GED, and she will also be taking some of your questions a little bit later. Most important thing, we are live on YouTube, and we have made the comments facility available. So you can post your questions. Feel free to type your questions in the comment facility. We will monitor these questions, and we will try our best to ensure that we answer all of your questions. But before we get to the questions, I think the most important question is what is the GED? So we're going to give a brief outline to what the GED is all about, what it is, what you can use it for, how it works. And as we go along, we will be answering your questions. So let's begin. What is the GED? So the GED is a closest equivalent option to a grade 12. So what does that mean? It means that once you have completed your GED, and we'll discuss what that means to complete the GED, you will receive a GED transcript and certificate credential that essentially says that you have the GED. This certificate will be issued by the Department of Education in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America. And this diploma can be used for many, many different things. Obviously, it tells everybody that you have completed your schooling career, and you can use this in South Africa, as well as throughout Africa, to apply for a job. Firstly, in South Africa, you can apply for a job that requires a grade 12 or a matric. You would need to go through the process of applying to SACRA, the South African Qualifications Authority, to get a certificate of equivalence. But in essence, you will be able to apply for a job that requires a matric. By the way, this webinar is being recorded, so we will make it available to everybody at a later stage that did register for the webinar. So how do you get your GED? The GED is comprised of 4 different examinations. Once all 4 of these examinations are passed, you graduate. It's really as simple as that. So how does it work? Everybody, no matter where you are in the world, it doesn't matter if you're here in South Africa, in the United States, in Australia, or in Thailand, it makes no difference. Everybody writes the same 4 exams. And why is that? Because it's a standardized exam, which means that it's recognized worldwide. And it doesn't matter if you got the GED in South Africa or Australia or the United States, it's the same piece of paper worth the same, no matter where you are. And the beauty of the GED, I believe it's the best benefit towards getting your GED is that anxiety levels for students are much lower than any other grade 12 equivalent. And why is that? Simply because you do not, and you're not expected to write all your exams over a 2 or 3 week period like other examination bodies. So that reduces stress levels. Why? Because you study towards one exam at a time. And you study for one subject or one exam. And when you are ready, exams are available throughout the year. It doesn't matter if it's January, March, September, or December. Nearly every single day of the year, exams are available. So you study for one subject at a time. And when you're ready, you book to write that exam. You'll go to your closest testing center. You're not allowed to write exams online from home. You go to your nearest testing center, you write your exam, and within a few hours, you'll know whether you've passed or not. You don't have to wait weeks and weeks to find out. So within a few hours, you know whether you pass. Hopefully you do pass first time, and then you move on to the next subject. You study the next subject, and when you've finished all 4 and you've passed all 4 exams, then you graduate. So the question is, what are these exams? Everyone writes the same 4 exams. They're the only 4 exams that are available, and they are as follows. Number 1, English. Number 2, mathematics. Number 3, science. And number 4, social studies. Those are the 4 exams that everybody writes. So let's discuss each one. Well, English is made up of language, reading, and writing. The writing is an argumentative essay that you need to write. The rest of the questions are all multiple choice. The mathematics exam is probably, if we actually equate it to South African standards, it's probably a mix of pure mathematics as well as maths lit, probably somewhere in the middle. The science exam is quite an interesting exam because actually we test 3 different subjects in one exam. The first is physical science, the second is life sciences, and the third is earth and space sciences. And now all 3 of those are tested in one exam. So you have to study for all 3 subjects, and one exam is written. And then the social studies exam is the 4th exam. And that exam is made up of economics, geography, and some history. So all in all, there are 8 subjects that you have to study towards, but there are only 4 exams because some subjects are combined into one examination. Just a reminder, feel free to please type your questions and comments in the notes facility and we will answer them. Exams are written at your nearest testing center. For the mathematics exam, or in fact for all of the exams, you're not allowed to bring anything with you. Not a pen, not a piece of paper, nothing. Not even a calculator. Everything that you need is supplied by the testing center, and an online calculator on computer is supplied for the mathematics exam. All 4 exams are out of 200 marks, and a pass is 145 out of 200. You cannot convert that to a percentage. It doesn't work like that. So please, there's just no point in even trying to compare it to what the pass mark is in percentage form. It doesn't work like the South African system at all. Exams, we highly recommend you only book for exams once you have written a practice test. The practice tests are the official practice tests that are offered by the GED. These practice tests can be written at home and should be written at home in an invigilated environment, simply because it helps you prepare for the final exam. And these practice tests tell you whether you are most likely to pass the final examination or not. We don't want you wasting money booking and paying for a final examination if you're not yet ready to write and to pass the exam. Each of the final exams are quite expensive, and that's why we don't want you to book and write them until you're ready and feel you're ready, having written the practice test. Practice tests can be considered the equivalent of mock exams or even matric prelim type of exams. The final exams are expensive. They're $80, $80 US. So it's between 1,600 and 1,700 Rand per exam, and there are 4 exams. We find that most students take between 10 and 12 months to complete the GED if you are studying one subject at a time and not stressing too much over the year. That's really what most students take, but many students do take a little bit longer. It really depends on their academic level. In order to write a GED exam, you have to be 17 years or older. You're not allowed to write the GED exams before you are 17 years old in South Africa, in Namibia, and in Kenya. In most other countries, you have to be 18 years old. And in the US, many of the states, you can be 16 years old to write the exams. Before writing those exams, as I said, you should do your practice test. And even though you have to be 17 to write the exams, it doesn't mean you only have to start when you're 17. You are more than welcome to start at the age of 16. You can start studying towards and preparing towards the exam. And when you turn 17, then you can book and you can write for your examination. Many students do have learning difficulties, and so there are accommodations available. You would obviously need your medical certificates from the doctor, etc., to apply for accommodation, and you apply through the GED.com website. We can provide the exact details on how to do that. And once you've applied, you will be able to get certain accommodations, such as extra time, such as a reader or a scribe. What are the minimum academic levels? Well, they aren't really for a GED, but we highly recommend that you have passed grade 10 before starting the GED. You're not going to cope with a GED if you haven't passed a grade 10. That's from our experience. But there are no formal academic requirements in order to start the GED. If you have not done mathematics, we get this question a lot. I didn't do mathematics, so what do I do? Or I didn't do science, what do I do? It actually doesn't make a difference. Why? Because the GED, you'll learn everything you need to know through the prep providers that help you prepare for the exam, and the entire GED set of tests, all 4 are critical thinking based. What does that mean? It means you cannot learn off by heart for these exams. If you try and learn off by heart for them, I can guarantee you that you'll fail those exams, simply because they are not designed to learn off by heart. It's all about new age critical thinking skills that we help you develop so that you can then write these examinations. That's how it works. And it works really, really well. Once you have passed the GED, as I said, you would be able to apply for a job that requires a matric or a grade 12 equivalent. And specifically in South Africa, you would be able to apply to many of the different private colleges out there, even the ones that provide and offer a degree. So a place like Studio or IIE or Boston City Campus do recognize the GED, and you are able to do degrees through them, and other certificates, diplomas, and higher certificates as well. You won't be able to get into a public university with the GED. So if you are planning on studying medicine or engineering at a public university is a place like UNISA, VITS, UJ, UCT, no point in even applying, you're not going to get in. However, there are many, hundreds of thousands of colleges, schools and universities throughout the world that are open and do accept the GED. We have many students that graduate from South Africa and from other African countries and continue their studies online overseas. There's a university called the University of the People. The University of the People is an online university. It's an unbelievable online university. They accept GED students. You can do a degree through them and get an American accredited degree, which I think is absolutely unbelievable. And at a very reasonable price, probably the equivalent of going to a public university such as this. So it really is an amazing opportunity. And there are many other colleges and universities around the world that accept the GED, ranging from Australia, the UK, the US, and many other countries, over 85 countries around the world. So that is what the GED is all about. Obviously, you need to prepare for the GED. You can't simply just write the exams. You can attempt to. The likelihood of passing them is very low. As I said, there are no prerequisites. So theoretically, you can book for a GED exam whenever you're ready. No one can tell you that you're not allowed to. You can simply just register on the GED.com website, book an exam, and go to your nearest testing center. In South Africa, we have 48 testing centers around the country. All Boston City Campus centers are GED testing centers. You book online. You can't phone Boston and book. It just doesn't work well. I highly recommend you book online. You just go to GED.com. You log in with your profile. You choose your closest testing center. You choose the date. You choose the time that you want to write your exam. You pay your $80, and you're booked and ready to go. And you can go and write your exam tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and you'll be up and running. Angela, are there any things that you want to add from your side before we go to questions?
Hi, Sean. Yeah, there were two things that I just wanted to touch on quickly. You mentioned the price of the exams. It's $80 per exam. If you do fail an exam, you can rebook the exam immediately, or you can take some time to go and do some revision before you book it again. You pay the same price. You can write the exam 3 times immediately after each other. After the 3rd time, if you fail, you have to wait 60 days before you can book the exam again. And there is no discount in the price of the exam. You still pay the $80. And then the other one that you touched on was for the younger students or the students that don't have a grade 10, they can always look at the pre-GED, which is also a course that the GED offers for the younger students, just to prepare them on a lower level for the GED, on that critical thinking side of things. And then obviously on the math, they also start them on a much lower level, and finally they cross into the GED. that was it.
Okay, thank you so much, Angela. If you do think of anything else, let us know. I'm just going to jump into some questions. I've received some questions on the YouTube comments line, and I've also received some questions by email. So feel free to continue putting questions on the comments line. We will work through all of them. But just as a reminder, we are the official office of the GED. So if there are any issues that you may have as a GED student, or even as a prospective student, you are more than welcome to contact us. We'll help you through the process. We'll answer all your questions. There are many channels that we run that you can contact us with. So the first one is our website. The website is ged.org.za. So it's ged.org.za. We're actually just going to put it in the chat. The second one is our phone number, 011-728-0212. That's now also in the chat. And we also have a email account, info@ged.org.za. Those are the three most important channels of communication that we operate. And we also, which is really interesting, we operate a Facebook group where we have nearly 17,000 followers that are all existing or interested GED students throughout the world. And these students ask questions, and many people answer questions, and it's a great way of getting more information. So the link to the group is now up as well on the chat. And then obviously we also have a Facebook page, which we highly recommend you follow. All the latest information is posted on this page. So whenever there is news coming out relating to the GED, and there will be quite a lot coming out in the next 2 months, even less than that, in the next few weeks. So I highly suggest that you follow our Facebook page. On Facebook, it's GED South Africa. I have also put that on our comments. So let's just look at some of the questions that we have. Will there be a recording? Yes. Probably tomorrow we will be emailing out a link to the recording so that anybody that has missed it or wants to go back and rewatch certain parts of it is welcome to access the recording. Is there a monthly fee, and where do I get the learning materials? Well, there's 2 parts to the GED. There's the preparation to prepare for the exam, and there are multiple providers out there that prepare students to write the exam and to be ready for the exam. And then there's obviously the exam fees themselves. So most prep providers will either charge a once-off fee for learning material if you want to purchase that learning material and study online at your own pace, or there are prep providers out there that also charge a monthly fee, and then you obviously get a lot more than simply just learning material that you self-study with. So it really depends on the type of student that you are, how much you can afford, and what you're looking for. Upfront fees, once off for the year, it's around about 3,000 Rand, and you get learning material that's self-study. And then you get monthly support and tuition and online learning material and access to a tutor and everything else. which costs usually around about 1,000 odd rand. So that's really the range, and we highly recommend that you verify that your prep provider is authorized. We have a list of authorized prep providers on our GED website. I'm just going to put the link, I think, as well onto the comments facility, so that you can see all the authorized prep providers out there. And then obviously the exams are monthly fees, and the monthly fees are, sorry, not monthly fees, are once-off fees. Sorry about that. So the exams are once-off fees, and it's every time you write an exam. If you fail an exam, unfortunately, you do have to pay the exam fee again. Now, we get this question very often, so I'm going to tell you what the question is, and I'm going to answer it. And that is, I often get the following. I got 143 or 144 out of 200. A pass mark is 145. Can't you please just push my mark up to 145 so that I can pass? And the answer is no. It will never happen. We cannot do it. Firstly, we don't even have access to those type of functions, but the GED throughout the world will never push anybody's marks up or down. There is the facility to request a remark. I highly, highly recommend that you never apply for a remark, because every single time, and I'm talking about 100% of the time, that people have applied for remarks, they have received the exact same mark once again. Why do I say that? Simply because all the exams and all the questions in every single one of the exams, except for the essay, are multiple choice questions, which are marked by a computer. A computer is not going to make a mistake. And so if you get 144, we're very sorry, but unfortunately you would have to rewrite it in order to hopefully pass it a second time. Angela, did you want to ask something there?
Yeah, I think you just answered that. The only one that you can request a remark on is your English exam, your RLA exam, purely because of the essay.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of all 4 exams, as you rightly say, there is only one question that is not multiple choice, and that is the argumentative essay. Now, the argumentative essay is a complex essay that you need to learn how to write the essay. It's not a simple essay to write, but once you've learned how to write it, it's actually relatively easy. Essentially, you get 2 paragraphs, and you have to argue why you believe the one paragraph is correct and the other one is not correct. That's in simple terms. There is no right or wrong answer. It's purely how you argue and write the essay. And so it's something that we often also see in our group chat, and that is, can we leave out the essay and still pass? So the answer is yes, you could. The comment is, why would you? I mean, why would you leave out potential marks in any case? If you really do struggle with the writing, just write whatever you can. You never know, you may get some marks for it. And related to that is spelling. Spelling is not counted when you write your essay. If the person can read what is written, you don't get penalized for spelling at all. And let's now move on to the next question. Is there a time limit to write the exam? So I think we can read this question in 2 different ways. The first one is the actual test itself. Each of the 4 tests have a time limit. Yes, absolutely. You get a time to write that exam, and when that time is finished, you cannot continue writing that exam. It literally will stop, and you won't be able to answer any more questions. You obviously, if you do struggle and have learning difficulties, you can apply for extra time. There's a process involved, and we have a frequently asked questions list on our GED.org.za website, where you can go to find out how to apply for extra time. But then I think this question can also be interpreted in a different way, and that is there a time limit in order to write all 4 exams before they expire? And so there is no time limit. You can write 1 exam this year, 1 exam next year, and 1 exam the following year. Until such time as there is a new version of the GED exams that are released, then your exams would expire. You would be given at least, I'm guessing the last time it happened was in 2014, which was 10 years ago already. So as you can see, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does happen, you'll be given a couple of months notice before the exams do expire, so you'll be able to rush through the rest of your exams. Which tertiary institutions in South Africa accept the GED? As I said, public universities do not. I'll repeat it. Public universities such as UNISA, WITS, UJ, UCT do not and will not accept GED students. Don't bother applying to them. You'll just be wasting your time and your money. Private universities, private, they're not really universities, private institutions and private colleges such as Studio, IIE, and Boston City Campus do accept GED students. We have many students that are studying degrees through these institutions, and you can study all different things with the GED. You can study nursing, you can study certain types of teaching, you can do a BCom, you can do a BA, you can do computer courses. There's a whole range of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different courses that you can do with the GED. And as I said, there are also many overseas universities that accept the GED, including the University of the People, which I highly recommend you research. That's really worthwhile. Next question is, I am 16 at the moment. Can I start with my exams? Well, you can start preparing for your exams, and you can write your exams when you turn 17. You cannot. Nobody can write exams before they turn 17 in South Africa. It's just not possible. There are no exceptions to that rule. But you are more than welcome to start preparing for the exams. It does take a while. As I said, it takes most students 10 to 12 months to complete the GED and to study. So you can start when you're 16, and as soon as you turn 17, you can book your first exam and go and write it. Next question is, my daughter is turning 15 next year. She's doing Think Digital grade 7 at the moment. Can she start doing the pre-GED next year? In theory, yes. In theory, yes. We don't suggest students start anything GED related until they're 16, because they should have the equivalent of a grade 9, or at least a grade 9, probably a grade 10, before doing the GED. If you want to start at a little bit of a younger age to do the pre-GED, pre-GED is not a school. Pre-GED is not a course. Pre-GED doesn't have exams. Pre-GED is simply preparation material to help students that do not have the equivalent of a grade 10 to get their academic levels up to a standard where they can start and cope with the GED. And for that reason, the pre-GED program doesn't include any subject other than English and mathematics, simply because those are the 2 most important skills that you need to have in order to cope with the GED. Science is not an issue. History, geography, it doesn't really matter. As I said before, right at the beginning, it doesn't matter which subjects you studied in school, makes no difference. You prepare for those subjects as you go along for whatever you need, and you will cope. Andrew, is there anything you want to add relating to Think Digital?
I think for the pre-GED, any students that we generally suggest students are sort of halfway through 15, because I mean the pre-GED takes them about 6 months to complete. So yeah, anything under 15 years, definitely too young for doing anything as far as the GED is concerned.
Absolutely. Now, there's a question, how much does the pre-GED cost and how can I enroll? Well, there are different costs depending on the prep provider, and the enrollment process is also different depending on the prep provider. So please email us on info@ged.org.za and just let us know what type of student you are, what you're looking for. Are you looking for self-study material, or are you looking for a provider that will also provide additional support and services and tuition? And then we are very happy to recommend a provider that will make most sense for you. My twin boys are also doing, I think, digital this year, grade 8. Can they also enroll for the pre-GED next year? Angela, I mean, I think just essentially, you want to just talk again. Let's just reiterate how the pre-GED works.
Yeah, grade 8. I think the student is still quite young for the pre-GED. Again, the pre-GED is just a bridging course that introduces students to the critical reading side of the GED. It doesn't teach them English. I mean, the students have to have a very good command of the language, number one. Number two, it's very much, because this is what the GED is, critical reading, critical thinking. So for English, it gives you language and it gives you reading. And it just introduces you on a much lower level to the critical reading side of the GED. And again, the math also starts on a much lower level, but it does cross over into the GED, what the students need to know in the GED at a later level. But again, 14-year-olds are too young for the pre-GED. It doesn't make sense for them to do that at the age of 14, because remember, they can only write the exam when they're 17. So the student cannot possibly do pre-GED and GED for 3 years. Definitely not.
It's not designed for younger kids at all. So
no,
the point,
no. There are other options for younger students. And again, like Sean says, you can email us and we can definitely, try and steer you in the right direction. But yeah, definitely not for GED for very young students.
Okay. There's another question for you, Angela. If we struggle with math, is there any way that we can enroll for an online math tutor?
Yes. There are options for tutoring on math. Yeah. Virtual tutoring.
I think again, info@ged.org.za. Email us. We'll recommend according to your needs. Just let us know what your needs are.
Absolutely.
You're more than welcome to phone us or contact us through Facebook, whatever you choose.
Yes.
Here's another one, Angela. If a reader is allowed, a reader as in a reader for the test, if a reader is allowed, must you provide the reader, or is it a computer that will read to the student?
No. So the GED actually, and this is done free of charge, the GED will provide a recorder, and if the student needs a scribe, they provide the scribe.
And it's a real person.
It's a real person. Yes, it's a real person. If a student is approved for any accommodations, they also cannot book their exams in the same way as other students book their exams. Exams have to be booked differently, directly with Pearson VUE, who's the testing center. And if they need a reader, recorder, or a scribe, Pearson needs 14 days notice, because they need to then arrange for the person or people to be there at the exam center when the student writes their exam. But yes, this is all done free of charge by the GED. And also another thing, we get people that ask, can they use their own reader recorder? No, it's not allowed. You have to book a Pearson VUE, or the test center will arrange their reader recorder that they have on their files to assist the student. So you cannot arrange your own reader recorder or scribe.
Good. Thank you for clarifying that. I've got a request before we continue. Please, everybody, to help spread the word, just like the video, like the live stream, follow us. We need to get the word out there on what the GED is all about. The next question is there a registration fee, like a once-off fee? Angela, is there a registration fee?
Are you asking me? For the GED? No. Well, it depends. It depends. Are you talking about writing the GED exams, or are you talking about learning?
Okay, so let's split it. On the prep side, it really depends on the prep provider. But on the exam side?
Exam side, there's no registration fee. You create your personal GED.com profile. It's free of charge. This profile is where you, and just a word of caution, when you create the profile, please make sure you only create one profile, that you do not create multiple profiles, because I think what happens is students forget their passwords, and then they go and they create another profile. And this will prohibit them from booking their exams, because this profile is where they book their exams, where all the exam scores go to this profile. So really important that you keep your login details safe, and that you only create one profile. If you forget your login details, there's an option to say forgot password, and you can get a link for a new password. If your email address has changed, then you can email us and we can explain to you how you can go about getting access to your profile. But this profile is completely for free. So there's a lot of information on this profile also that you can work through. There are examples of what the exams look like, practice tests to show you what the format of the exams will be, etc. And again, that's all for free. There is you only pay for the exams. There's no other registration fees.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, Angela, do you have to do prep through a prep provider, or can you go straight and write the exam?
You don't need to do prep. I mean, this is completely up to you, but we do suggest that you do.
Yeah.
I
mean, the likelihood of passing without doing prep is very low. But if you've done your own, if you feel that you're ready and you want to write, go ahead. Just remember, it's very expensive. It's $80 per exam, and make sure that you are ready. At least do a practice test, which is only a few dollars, like it's about 140, 150 rand to do a practice test. At least do a practice test before you spend so much money on a final test and fail it.
Yeah, and for the ready test, we generally suggest that the students, even though the pass mark for the GED is 145 out of 200, for the ready test, we generally suggest that the students get in the region of 155, before they book their exams.
Absolutely, I think that's a good point. Absolutely. Okay. Do Asian countries like Japan and Korea also accept the GED? Yes. In fact, there are many universities that in Asia, Japan, I'm sure in Korea as well, in Bangkok, in the whole of Thailand, There are so many that do accept GED students. So yes, it is recognized, and you can study further in many Asian countries. In fact, it's incredibly popular. The GED is very, very popular in Asia. Adults. Can adults also complete the GED? As I've never completed my matric back in the day. Angela?
Absolutely. Like we said, there's no age restriction. So the only age restriction is 17. You have to be 17 to write the exams. Other than that, you can write it when you're 60 also. It doesn't matter.
And we have students. We have many students of all different ages doing the GED. You're more than welcome to come and do it, prepare, and then write the exams and get your GED. There's no reason why you can't get a GED issued by the Department of Education in the United States of America. I mentioned history. So history is actually one of the topics within the social studies exam. And the question is this American history? Is it world history? Do I need to learn it off by heart? Angela, that's your specialty.
Yeah, it's a mixture of world history and American history. Again, don't let that frighten you. Okay, you don't learn this off by heart. It's comprehension. It's critical reading, critical thinking. It could have been German history. Makes no difference. Okay, it's all of it is comprehension. So you don't learn anything off by heart. You learn skills. You learn skills.
The answer is always in the text. You just need to learn how to identify the answer, the correct answer, and answer A, B, C, or D.
Absolutely. And these are the skills that you have to learn, how to actually get to the answer in the passage or the image, whatever they give you.
Good point. Okay, I'm just going to clarify. Here's a question regarding, you mentioned accommodation. You need to apply for the test through Pearson. Do you need to write the exams at Pearson? Where would I find their website? Okay, so let's just clarify. There's a few parts to this process. So firstly, exams are written at any one, and I'm talking South Africa specifically, at any Boston City campus countrywide. Why Boston City campus? Because Boston City campus are the accredited Pearson testing centers. So Pearson is the company that delivers the exam on the GED behalf, and Boston have a Pearson testing center within their centers. Accommodations, you apply for accommodations through the GED.com website. Just email us and we'll send you information on how to apply and the correct process, because it is a little bit complex and you need a whole bunch of documentation before you can even start that application process. So GED exams are written at Pearson VUE testing centers. You will find all the venues throughout the world. You can just go to ged.org.za and click on testing centers, and you can search for the nearest testing center, whether you're in Namibia, whether you're in Kenya, doesn't matter really where you are. You can search for the nearest testing center. Every single testing center is a Pearson VUE testing center. That's just a different company that is hosting Pearson to write the examination. Have I covered everything, Angela? Yeah, okay. If I don't want my 3 kids to study at a particular school for grade 8 or grade 9, can you suggest any others? Yes, we can absolutely suggest others. I'm not going to be punting any schools on this webinar, but if you email us on info@ged.org.za, just let us know your requirements and we will be happy to recommend alternative schools or prep centers as per your requirements. And then, is there a link that I can sign in for? Well, there's two parts. You need to choose a prep provider where you want to sign up with to help prepare you for the exam. And there are many out there. And then there's obviously to register yourself as an official GED student so that you can book for your exams and your practice exams, that you use GED.com. Just go to GED.com and click on sign up. It's free and you can sign up. So here's a question: Can I just go to the website and create a profile? And then there's all the subjects there for free. The subject learning material is not free. You can sign up on the GED.com website, which will provide very basic information and the ability to book for your exams. But as I said, if you want to purchase learning material to study with, you're going to have to purchase it. It's not free. There are some YouTube videos that are free, but please, if you're going to be using free learning material, make sure you're using very good learning material, because there's a lot of rubbish out there that teach you the wrong things, and we don't want you to be doing that. So we highly recommend using accredited learning material. And again, if you want to know where that is, info@ged.org.za, email us. We'll recommend accredited learning material from different schools depending on your requirements. The practice tests are around about, they're just under 150 Rand, including that, to get an official practice test that you can do that will tell you if you are ready to write the final exam. And then to book the exam, you book them on GED.com, no matter whether you are sitting in Namibia, Kenya, South Africa, Asia, Australia, Bangkok. It makes absolutely no difference. The cost is $80 worldwide. So the cost is $80, which is approximately, depending on the exchange rate, between 1,600 and 1,700 Rand. And you can book that exam online on the GED.com website. Angela, is there anything that you would like to add, not relating to that question, but just in general?
Yeah, I think just quickly on the practice test, the ready test you can purchase on the student profile. However, there's also an option to purchase the test locally. You can also just email us and we can give you that info. Sometimes because if there's a problem with a test and you've purchased it on your profile, we have to go back to the USA and get that sorted out, which can take some time. So if you can purchase it locally, then if there is a problem, it can be sorted out locally. But yes, please just email us with regards to that.
Yeah, so I've just put the link to the local practice test that you can purchase. It's 130 Rand plus that. And if there are any issues, we're able to help you with that relatively quickly. If you purchase on the GED.com profile, the turnaround will probably be about a week, because it takes a long time to get feedback from America and to get things sorted out. So it's up to you. You can purchase from wherever you want.
Yeah, just another thing, Sean, on that is if you do have approved accommodations, then you have to book it on the GED.com profile, or else you don't get the extra time. Just bearing that in mind.
Okay, good. There's a question here, the GED Prep Handbook from Kaplan for 2024. When will that be available in South Africa? I've got no idea. You don't need a 2024 version. You can use a 2022 version or a 2020 version. It makes absolutely no difference. So if you do want to use a book rather than online learning material, just order it through Takealot or one of those places, and you'll be absolutely fine. We do, however, highly recommend that you use online learning material versus books. simply because when you're studying online, you're getting a much better feel for the computer, for online questions, which is a huge thing because all the exams are written online. You don't write exams at Boston City campus with a pen and paper. So it's much easier to prepare online, but we're not prescriptive. If you want to use a book, you can use the Kaplan book with absolute pleasure. Whatever book you use or whatever online material you use, just make sure that it is aligned, accredited, and accepted. Don't just go find any random book or YouTube video and use it. I don't recommend that. Angela, anything else you want to add before we close off?
Nothing from my side.
Okay, so again, one last time, if there's any information that you want, feel free to email us on info@ged.org.za. I'm putting it up on the screen again. Feel free to email us and we will gladly help you. We're here to help you. That's our job. So feel free to contact us anywhere from Africa and we will do our best to help you. Once again, thank you so much for everybody attending and for the questions. We hope you've learned a lot. Spread the word. It's an exciting system. The GED is really an amazing solution. So feel free to ask any questions and contact us at any point in time. Have a wonderful afternoon and we'll see you soon.